We're going to return to the stirring of the cauldron of collaboration to draw our next reader. And Cheryl, we also have the bowl of solidarity from which you are invited to draw a piece of paper that will have the names of 2 other locations.
Okay, here we go. This is, we're dedicating to Kakuma Refugee Camp, Kenya, and Paris, France, which, to be there. I'm actually going to read 3 poems, which you'll understand that they kind of go together. But before I start, I simply just want to say that fear suffocates and change begins where we live. So. All right, my first poem, and there's at least 2 of you in this room who have heard it, but it's worth repeating. It's titled Heather Love. A sea of purple for a violet rose, a color of compassion, honoring untold woes. She thought her life was simple. She thought that she was plain. She spoke her mind with heartfelt tears, and the world will know her name. She stood for those who suffer from unjust and unkind fates. She stood for those voices lost along the way. She thought her life was simple. She thought that she was plain, until a day of violence thrust her in to deadly fame. Her words of strong encouragement will cry around the world, and all those silent voices will no longer go unheard. For Heather's cry to others and her love against mounting hate reminds us we should listen and not to hesitate. Stand up for those downtrodden. Stand up for those beaten down. Stand up and love your brother. Let your eyes be colorblind. And when you are confronted with bigotry and hate, let Heather be your guiding light. May her death spark your flame. Thank you so much. Margins. I will not, love justify, use punctuation, hinder my flow of self-expression to make you feel more comfortable. I will center myself on the page as I attempt to do so in this chaos, letting my words move organically after years of constraint, self-imposed from ongoing fear because I was beaten down and down and down. But I rise up, centered, unconfined, and fly as a free bird. And this is a recent poem, a follow-up almost exactly a year to the date of Heather Love. I'm still tweaking this morning. It's titled Off Her Guard. They swarmed like flies upon the sanctuary city, where vineyards grow next to blue mountains, much like the outlanders who descended upon the ville of Charlottesville the year prior. A quiet, peaceful valley had soothed her weary soul, falling the violence, not only upon local folks, but their town, where in the end, one young woman, Heather Heyer, lay dead among scores of horribly injured in that God-forsaken attack upon the unsuspecting. She kept vigil all year long, returning to the place where Heather perished in one swift blow by a man who drove his car into a crowd of nonviolent social protesters, killing Heather instantly and wounding not only her friends and bystanders, but the town's very soul. And so she returned to the peaceful valley to commemorate this year-long vigil of remembering, of gentle protesting, of finding her social conscience once again among wilted flowers, where handwritten messages and chalk-lined brick walls marked the street where Heather was slain. It was there she found her voice, her vigil a slow, melodious act, placing poetic postcards in a sealed, protective, clear plastic envelope, simply marked, "In memory of Heather Heyer, please take one for yourself and or a friend." 365 days of dodging photographers and reporters who descended upon the Ville of Charlotte in search of answers to explain the day that violence came to town. And so, upon the one-year anniversary of Heather's death, her guard was down, and falsely thinking that the sole photographer, noticeable to her usually observant eye, had retreated, she stooped down one last time to place a purple flower and secure her messages of hope, silently seeking closure on her vigil to magnify Heather's voice. It was there, in that moment of losing herself and letting down her guard, he captured her essence, and she found herself the face of mourning for the Ville of Charlotte's town. I'm going to pass these.
Shelly Smitzer. Welcome, Shelly. Multi-talented Shelly. Thank you. Thank you.
Singer, artist, poet,
Musician, vocalist.
Let's see. Okay, I'll be reading today and singing for everyone here, for the people of Charlottesville, and for the people of Nancaipan de Juarez, Mexico, and Odessa, Texas. So the poem I'm going to read, I wrote for this occasion, and it's entitled Change. Someday, when I am not too old, I will see people of every country of the world join hands around the globe in peace, compassion, and love. Words like nuclear bombs, hydrogen bombs, atomic bombs will vanish from our lips, only to be buried in textbooks and old encyclopedias. Guns will become antiques, as people who are hungry are fed in fields of corn, under trees of ripened fruit, someday when I am not too old. I want to hear the sounds and songs and taste the flavors of love and compassion throughout the world before I am too old. And I'd like to do a song for you. It was recorded by Diana Ross. It is on the theme of what we're talking about today. The wonderful lyrics were written by Hal David, and the name of the song is What the World Needs Now. I'll just put this in. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Lord, we don't need another mountain. There are mountains and hillsides enough to climb. There are oceans and rivers enough to cross, enough to last till the end of time. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Lord, we don't need another meadow. There are cornfields and wheat fields enough to grow. There are sunbeams and moonbeams enough to shine. Oh, listen, Lord, if you want to know what the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, oh, but just for everyone. And if I may, I'd like to do another song, if there's time. This song is my vision for the future. It was recorded by Louis Armstrong. I'm just going to take a sip of water before I do this beautiful song. It's entitled, What a Wonderful World. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the skies, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yeah, I say to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh, yeah.
Mariana Dunn.
So I'm going to do the Nana test. If Mom can hear me, I know I'm doing okay. Can you hear me, Mom?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm reading for Toronto, Canada. Yay, I got one I could pronounce. And Indianapolis, Indiana. And I want to thank Polly for doing this. Thank you so much, Polly.
How many years now?
How
many years have you been doing this?
I look forward to this every year. As soon as she tells me, I put it on the calendar. So thank you. It's one of my favorite things. So this is from Letters to Little Mills, which is told in 3 voices. It's about slavery. And I think that's the foundation of a lot of the problems that we're facing in this country. They're too complicated and too worldly to bring down to one thing. This is called Free as a Bird. So it's in 3 voices. So some of this is letters written by my great-great-grandmother, and a little tiny bit is a song, No More Auction Block, and then the rest of it is my writing. Free as a bird, after Robert Hayden. Thorn deep, 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 down where the frog sounds, night sounds, black on black, tangled deep, cannot find you, down to the berry-banked waters, wade away, descent of night. Armstead ran away and went to the Yankees as Sherman's troop army was running through here to Memphis. And I think we have others that will go yet if they remain long in Memphis. A great many have gone from here. They are dying by the hundreds with smallpox, and still they go. They know it, but still they go. They wish to know for themselves what it is to be free as a bird. Many thousand gone, but I can see your silhouettes descending still, shadows by the hundreds, wordlessly descending, heads bent as though in prayer, processing downward, yet your shadows rise into that lacerating sanctuary to which we are all bound. And this next poem is also an anniversary of August 11th and 12th, and is just in the tension of waiting for the days. It kind of came out all garbled and weird because that's how I was feeling. It's called In Medias Res, in the middle of the action. Rain cold and almost dying, air bewildered receptacles of light, behind the first gray days of August, wait on the surface of prayers. And this one is called In Memory of the Unremembered. And this is my newest poem, very recent. September 11th again, and the evening news again replays names read against the solemnity of bells as this day begins receding into other days of names lost to unreason. For Nagasaki luminarias still float across darkening waters, but who will remember Bear River? Rwanda recedes into St. Bryce's Day. Badajoz into the First Crusade, days for dissertations and search engines. Beyond these are the unnamed days of no one at all, their screams recoiled into silent villages so forgotten not even the soil remembers them. Thank you.
Fred Wilbur.
Fred, yay.
Not too many left. I can't pick and choose. This is for Bradford, United Kingdom, and Woodstock, New York. In these times of division, we tend not to listen to each other, and I hope that these two poems counter that a little bit, or in the spirit of listening. So this, I hope you recognize the speaker's change of mind. It's called Firewood Archaeology. They found him lying between the stacks, ready for deeper burying, the wet of his jeans as symmetrical as wings. He had always bragged his way around me, rude, insecure, someone I thought a fool. His widow, in clearing out the house and sheds to live with her youngest, has asked if I could use the wood before copperheads come, or time by itself turns it to dust. I walk the aisles of his crafted cords, log cabin corners, plumb and level. I see a history there among fist-sized rounds, a layer of sawn boards from the whitewashed shed he took down the year his son died. There is a layer of yellow-hearted locust, too small for fence posts, a cluster of spalted oak, the odd feature of some shop project that experienced the teaching hand of mistake. I never thought I'd measure a man by splits and knots, his labors not lost, but held in trust. The load once heavy on the earth, becoming lighter as moisture escapes. Yes, I'll take it off her hands. Yes, I'll remember the man, the artful joy he had in his life, the burning, the dwindling, he would surely understand. The next one's called The Ghost Plant. Most of you all know about Indian pipe, which is a little fungus. So, the ghost plant. Unnoticed only a few days ago, a family appears in rotting lairs, their heads bowed in complicated prayers, in constant debt to the fungus below. And in our umbrage is the shame of parasites, pale imitations of bright flowers, of honest vocations which life rewards regardless of their name. They are the lilies of the field, imprisoned by their dependence, ceding all choice to circumstance. But to our curiosity they have appealed. So have compassion for their blackening griefs. Do not scorn or judge. Do not cease your charity. Perhaps they have found peace as men who blindly rely on others' beliefs.
Thank you, Fred. Judith Green.
Hey, coming from the back.
Right on time.
I get to pick for another country. Okay, I am too, man. All right, so, well, Famagusta, Cyprus. Anybody from Famagusta, Cyprus tonight? And Sandpoint, Idaho. All right, so that's who I'm reading for. Cyprus is in the Mediterranean, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, I'm
The
Judith.
birthplace of Aphrodite.
Is it really? The birthplace of Aphrodite. We have some good poets here today. This is wonderful. It was kind of a situation, and I did not get here on time. But so I'm going to read a poem. It's called Bone Door, and its purpose is to be a voice, maybe for those who are not speaking. I hope. Bone Door. I'm the one come in the mother moon, her foaming waters twined, paddling with another. Come with me, someone is knocking. Am I the one June and Myron sent box like roses, their unwanted mail? Do I answer their door for outside mail? Who? June and Myron, the parents. Who is knocking? I answer the door. I wore a paper blouse that August. Again, knocking, knocking. Inside the soft willow thread, the bones knocking, wanting ear, paper. Am I the one who never knew, buried, still breathing? All right, and then we got another one. This one's about Calcutta. About 30 years ago, I was in Calcutta. I have kind of challenging eyes here. Calcutta, before the body remembers. I feed every day on a coconut haircut, a woman. Bat, pani, white rice, water in tin, bucked teeth, clipped hair, hands together, head bobbing like a toy dog on car dashboards, mouth rounding. Oh my God, oh my God, bowing in wet heat, shining her knuckle-skin hands to me, an American. Your name, your days, hours, who were you? Why abandoned? When did you find her? Where? The doctor with us today in the high-windowed vault room. Hear the dying pea-poop in a lipped cement trough, turning, almost cradling a sister, the woman. Her arms, body to its stomach, face to cot. Sister, you found her in the street? Under the street, the drain, we pull off maggots, doctor, rats running. Spine cording bare, wing bones to waist, meat pulp maggot-tongued, we look in, her back an aquarium window, the wrapper of flesh eaten, a living x-ray. I wonder how daylight fell under the street, the load of footfalls above, in rank dark, a monsoon sloshing, teething rats, maggots nursing, fermenting flesh. Under Calcutta's sour belly, the fingers cannot gouge out footless maggots, cheese flies, rove beetles, their seething carpet. Bending down to the odor, the sound of stench, sisters in white blue saris pull from under the street. A rack of bone, a woman. Thank you.
Thank you, Judith.
Thank you.
All right.
Everybody.
Janet King. Thank you.
Okay, we're holding hands now with the people of Dusseldorf, Germany, and Asheville, North Carolina.
You're at the Anarchist bookstore today in Asheville. No, not Malabras.
The Sufi poet Hafiz, you know, with all of the suffering and regret in the world, leave it to the Sufis to find the exuberance. Go for a walk if it's not too dark. Get some fresh air. Try to smile. Say something kind to a safe-looking stranger if one happens by. Always exercise your heart's knowing. You might as well attempt something real along this path. Take your spouse or lover into your arms the way you did when you first met. Let tenderness pour from your eyes the way the sun gazes warmly on the earth. Play a game with some children. Extend yourself to a friend. Sing a few bawdy songs to your pets and plants. Why not let them get wild? Let's toast every rung we've climbed on evolution's ladder. Whisper, I love you to the whole mad world. Jump to your feet, wave your fists, threaten and warn the whole universe that your heart is going to burst from love.
Just the flow, poet to poet. It's beautiful. And it's Cheryl.
Leuven, Belgium, and Norwich, Cheshire, UK. So, hi. Thank you for putting this together.
I wouldn't have done it if it were not for you.
So I did this, I don't even remember what year it was.
2011.
2011
That was the
in
first
Richmond.
one.
And I invited Polly, and she joined me. And then I think you've been doing it here ever since.
Well, you hosted it in 2012
Well, 2012.
at the Virginia
okay.
Museum, and I came to that. And then I assisted Bob Putman in an event at Seaville Coffee in 2012, and then 2013 was when I started here. Yeah.
For the past several months, I've been working on poetry that's about the feminine and the earth as well, and restoration of the earth. And the last 2 days were pretty hard for me, as it was for a lot of people. And typically what I do before a reading is I, read over what I'm going to read and reacquaint myself with the language. And I did that last night after kind of a harrowing day for some of us. And it's just like, oh my God, and it was like, we get critical about our work, but this was like at a pitch. And I said, I can't read that. I can't read that at all. It's terrible, or it just didn't fit. So kind of at the last minute then, I chose 2 other ones. And one is easy enough to read and I think comprehend, and then the other one is not, and there's actually a lot to unpack with it, and I'll say more about it when I get to it. So this first one I'm going to share with you. Actually just got published in a magazine last week. It just came out, Spacecraft Project, which does a lot of poetry about consciousness. So this one doesn't quite have a name at the moment. I call it 44, because that's the order of its creating. This is a work in progress about progress. I am not who you are thinking. This is a passage about what to pass on and what makes me faint. This is a poem that refutes lines and breaks with superstition. This is not a hand, not a bowl of chicken soup, not a tax receipt. I may wish it were otherwise. I may wish they were others. I may switch wishes like twins separated at birth. These are words that frame me and catch me in a post-adolescent phrase, middling with age, midline. It's a cause for pause, but I've other issues not weight-related unless you weigh souls. I want you to hear the unsaid. I want you to apply pressure to the bleed. I want a recant of need by necessity and a sense of the insensate. I'm told transformation takes place through repetition, and signed the petition. I'm told string beans taste better roasted with butter. I'm told I'm susceptible to double vision and see what isn't seeable. I'm taking my time, and time is taking me. This may not be working out, but it's the work before me. I'd rather not be an afterthought or foregone conclusion. I'm not wishing myself into existence like a troll. This may be the function of doubt and a dysfunctional daydream. This may be the kiss before death, but I swim between extremes and welcome rafts. These words prod you toward what I won't say, and you will. These are the words that praise porosity and sitting spellbound with patterns and hair in bed. Thank you. So, this one really requires me to rehearse it. because it's performative, and I have done 0 rehearsals. So I'm not even sure how I'm going to read it. However, this is a participatory one. So as at least Judith and you look familiar, I think I came here several years ago and did a workshop, Writing from the Body. So I do a lot of work that is body-centered. And so sometimes my language comes straight out of the body and is just a sound, and sometimes it has some association to words that you're familiar with. Your participation, and of course there's always a practice for this. So there's 2 sounds I want you to make, and they're related to this part of your body right below your belly, which is known as the hara. So the 2 sounds, and you're free to just do it, make the sound quietly and feel the vibration, or loudly. So the first sound, and we will practice this, is oh. Say it as long as you want, okay? Good. You're good at this. Okay. And then the other sound is, and again, feel the vibration in your hara. But where else and there may be other places that you feel the vibration, because this, for me, is a poem of transformation, which needs to be happening, which is happening, but let's be intentional about it. So the other sound is Oh, good. You're very good at this. Okay, so what's the word that I'm going to tell you? So one of my words, and this is actually the name of the poem, is I-U, and it's spelled I-Y-O-U. And I've been looking for a word for, not we, but a word that is intersubjective, interdependent, interrelated. And the thing about I-U means I get to maintain the me independent, differentiated, and then there's also you, but you bring them together, and what does that create? So you will hear that sound a few times. I also brought my drum. It's been in the car for a while. Okay, it sounds great. Yeah, it sounds good. So I will cue you with the sounds, and feel free to. I'm going to be improvising, so I invite you to improvise. I think you're all familiar with words and sounds, so okay. And you did really marvelously with the O and the ah, so okay. I-U. I-U comes from I, comes from you. For hope, for a future. Hip, away, to open. Doors left ajar, light ways. I-U invitations. I-U are porous. I-U heartens to warm. Get up, the get up. 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 Open hara. Open to awe. Open to awe. said so myself. I said so myself, so in I-yo. I so, you so. No from, not from anywhere, but here in hi-yo, upso, I-yo. Repeat as needed. And refrain from dismissing and affirming I-you. Hip opens to wing it full spread and feathery punch. Excuse I-you, who knows not what the left hand is doing with the right or what is wrong with wrong. Two who right the boat by a throw of the line. Transmit. You're free to say oh or ah. Sign on the undotted line. Embody, we are, we are, we are, we are where? Ah, hara. Oh. Repeat as need, on needles free, as getting goes, and return I-you as risque as rest. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. Is there anyone who hasn't read that wanted to read or perform? Nope. Okay. I'm going to read 3 short poems, and then we're going to come together to close with I have water that's that I've been combining since 2016. It comes from just about 400 sources now. For anyone who brought water today can add to it, but and take some home. I'm really thrilled. I just received water yesterday from the Big Island, Hawaii. That actually contains the essence that was made at the Bodhi tree there. So, and then we're going to make some noise to send some happy noise around and out in the world. But before we do, I'll quickly read to you. I am reading in solidarity with Athens, Greece, and Fairfax, California. Here's a naked one. Do you want it? Between bites of a pizza slice, a daughter shouts across a rush hour crowd queue for next availability cash registers. Plucks out a packaged cooked chicken, tosses it into a loaded shopping cart. Mom, with her slice, walked away before the toss. And where is Bonnie? Last seen at a local pick your own apple orchard. Her missing person flyer hung for over a year on a rural post office wall. Footprints of a local home appliance serviceman. Boot toes dust-tipped, sole prints mark his passage from dank basement across hardwood floor out into autumn damp grasses that spring upright soon after he pauses. Red toolbox in right hand. A just collar of earth tone clad shirt. Lifts face to the sky. Lowers voice. This is the only country in which you can speak freely. You would be killed for speaking aloud in other countries. What they are doing to the children is wrong. What they are doing to the children has never happened here before. I cannot not speak of the original custodians of this land whose children were taken from their families, the children of the enslaved in this country whose ancestors, the internment camps on the west coast of this country during World War II. Wind rattles leaves from oak trees, softly pings an acorn landing on living soil. Bone woman watches. Turkey vultures adjust to current changes with the ease of an airborne dandelion seed, adrift on wind to land on fertile soil far from here, away from mud, where no chill creeps beneath warped doors, where no hairline crack in a paint-peeling tin roof channels rain. In winter woods, the first hollow bone she found 2 years ago is now cleanly cleaved into halves by rain expanding as it froze. A small animal vertebra wasn't beside the driveway when she walked down the road, sun-bleached, clean as a lighthouse beacon, size of her knuckle. Beneath a dumpster, beneath a juniper, she sees a small pelvic bone, reminiscent of a funeral mask, a starving polar bear. Concentric rings in the heart of a decaying tree stump delineate seasons, weather patterns, mirror the neighborhood in the center of the Milky Way. She follows moon phase changes, notes the first lilac leaf bud, the change in light by which the color of male bluebirds appears bright. Thank you. So, I brought a basket of rattles and other sound makers if anyone would like some. I want to, Shelley's going to demonstrate how to play maracas. I'm going to put that over here if anybody wants. There's no pressure. I would like to thank the founding members of WriterHouse and the board of WriterHouse, and to especially celebrate Patsy, who is a board member and has been participating in this event since we met at Ivy Creek at something Tony Russell created. Mm-hmm. And I also would like to thank each of you. Many of you have traveled distances to be here, and I appreciate that. I invite you also, if you're not a member of WriterHouse, to consider joining. We have such wonderful instructors. John Most is here tonight, and Cheryl has taught here twice. And we are able to use this space without paying for it. So if you feel so moved as to leave a small contribution, we'll pass that on to WriterHouse. So let's stand up and let's make some sound to send around to Earth. I also have a couple other drums. What Earth benefits most from, and we mutually benefit because we are in interdependent relationship with all of life, is sound, singing, drumming, rattling, dancing. So let's make a sound together and send just for a few minutes. Imagine that your love is going through this sound to Earth and all around the world, to all those 2,000 local communities that are participating in today's event, and everywhere. And if you want to send it to someone in particular, do so. Ready? We'll just do this for a few minutes. Ready? 1, 2, 3. immune system boost.
Hey!
All right, the words here, if anybody wants to join orders, you can have it. So before we all go our merry way, come, let's gather around for a moment in a circle. That's all right. Just reach around and take someone's hand. Find a hand. All right. So I'm going to ask you to, if you have, give into the center of this circle. First, I want to give again my appreciation to you for your showing up and being present, sharing your amazing poetry with us. And I invite you to give out into the center of the circle whatever word comes from your heart. What would you like to send out into the world today?
I think I might have it.
Oh, Mom!
You can't do it with a walk.
Yes, you can. You can just say it.
You don't have to do anything. We're just standing here.
Hold my hand for a minute. Thank you. All right, let's go. Anyone?
Compassion.
Tolerance.
Thank you.
Serenity.
Peace.
Light.
Power.
Friendship.
Peace on earth.
Community.
Togetherness.
Woohoo!
Good one.
Connection.
Togetherness.
Kindness.
And what's one word that you'll take home with you? What's your take-home bumper sticker from this?
Poetry.
Russ. That's for you to ponder on. Thank you again for your presence and your contribution. And